Okay, hello everyone. Great to have you on board another time with tutorial, the test tutorial, and this tutorial, it happens to be a continuation of the course. It happens to be the continuation of the course, part 308, and today we're going to be taking intergovernmental relations, just like we have it on the thumbnail of the room. It's just that it's abbreviated on the thumbnail, and want to apologize for starting a little bit behind schedule, but sometimes service provider might just prove very funny, and basically this is why most time we don't start when we are expected at the scheduled time, or irrespective of the situation. We just have to make the best of the situation for ourselves, make the best out of the situation. So for those of us who are new to the stream, let's ensure to hit the subscribe button. All right, ensure to also give us a thumbs up, like the video, like the stream, and most importantly, if you haven't joined the private class yet, do well to reach out to us today on our official website, which is www.tutorio.net. You want to ensure to use the WhatsApp button in the top right corner to send us a direct message. With this being said, let's go straight into today's class. Okay. Now, according to the thumbnail, we have IGR, which is a abbreviation for intergovernmental relation. Okay, intergovernmental relation. Now, yesterday we talked about federalism. Okay, talk about federalism. Talk about the government, and today we're going to be talking about the relationship between the organs that make government a success. Yesterday, we talked about federalism, and from what we said yesterday about federalism, we established the fact that for federalism to work effectively, power has to be shared among, all right, power has to be shared within the government, all right, and by so doing, we have power given to certain bodies, all right, irrespective of the fact that this power is being shared. These bodies, these institutions or agencies work together to achieve one purpose. Are we together? So I want to talk about what's the relationship like between these bodies? What's the relationship within a federal system of government? How does different governmental body, all right, communicate? How do they work together to achieve the overall goal, which is to protect the citizen and ensure the state runs smoothly and effectively? Now, according to Elekwa in 1975, all right, Elekwa says intergovernmental relations, all right, according to Elekwa is of the opinion that intergovernmental relations, are we together? Intergovernmental relations involve the pattern of cooperative relation, that is, Elekwa in 1995. All right, it says the relationship that exists between, speaking of the relationship that exists between, all right, governmental, all right, the relationship that exists between these governmental organizations is that of the pattern of, it follows the pattern of cooperative relationship. All right, that's IGR involved. IGR follows the pattern. Are we together? Follows the pattern of what we refer to as cooperative, okay, cooperative relations. All right, cooperative relationship between this government, all right, between, let's, it says a government in a federal governmental system, but basically, let's put it as IGR follows a pattern of cooperative relationship between the governmental agencies, all right, in a federal system of government. All right, this is just emphasizing, this is just re-emphasizing what I said earlier about, all right, re-emphasizing what I said earlier about the term IGR. All right, so with this being said, let's take a step further. So the all and sundry of IGR basically is just to specify, to highlight, all right, to explain how intelligence is working together to achieve of IGR. Intergovernmental relations. Now let's reconsider. Remember what we call evolution in our perspective class. We said it is a process, all right, how things have evolved or changed over time, over a long period of time. Now we have IGR in Nigeria started, all right, excuse me, IGR in Nigeria before the 1946, all right, was high power centralization. All right, it was high power centralization, and the central, while there was low decentralization at the regions. All right, before Nigeria began to, all right, before Nigeria began to experience good relationship among the government, its governmental body. All right, it was never the case. All right, it was something else whereby power was centralized and there was little or no decentralization of power at all. All right, now this is because the British colonial masters favored the unitary tradition mainly due to economic consideration. All right, when we talk about the history of the evolution of idea in Nigeria, all right, remember there was an amalgamation. All right, and basically the reason why there was an amalgamation in 1914 is because these colonial masters want to reduce the cost of expenses, all right, the cost of running administrative, all right, and also legislative and also judicial activities in the colonies. All right, so they had to bring everything together to one place, so that one rule, one law, one everything can work for, and they can save more and more. All right, so initially IGR in Nigeria was centralized. All right, by by the colonial masters, okay, for the all right, for economic purpose. Are we together? So not until 1979, all right, where the Constitution elaborated the IGR, all right, or let's put it, elaborated the mode of IGR in Nigeria. Are we on the same page? Do not use this comment section to notify me so I can adjust accordingly. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's move to the next. Uh, let's move on. So basically, there are types. There are types of intergovernmental relations. Okay. Now, when we talk about the types of intergovernmental relations, we have the partnership model. All right. We have the principal slash agent model, and we have the dual model. Okay. Now, speaking of the partnership model, this model, all right, there are three levels of government, which is the federal, state, and local. We have types of IGR. So the first one, we have the partnership model. Now, under this partnership model, it is further subdivided into three. All right, where we have the federal, state, and we have the local. Now, the three levels of government here are regarded as equal before the law. Under the partnership model, these three levels are regarded as equal before the law. Are we together? And then we have the principal agent, okay, the principal agent model. Now, under this model, the local government is not regarded as government, but as a form of local administration. All right, so we have principal slash agent model. Here, we have majorly two forms of government that is well recognized, which is federal and state. All right, the local is more of a local administration. All right, so they are not local is not equal with this other compared to these, which are equal before the law. And we have the dual model. Now, this model attempts to integrate both the elements of the first two. Are we together? It's both partnership and principal agent model, but the emphasis is on the functional competence. All right, emphasis is on what? Functional competence. Are we together? So for the third one, which is according to what we had here, is a dual model. Dual model. All right, dual model combines. All right, the partnership model and the principal and agent model for the purpose of what? Function, effectiveness, and functionality. So basically, we have that as that. Now, let's take a step further. Like I said earlier, I just want us to take this course latest on Thursday. We should be done with this course. Basically, the latest we discuss. Some of the problems of IGR in Nigeria, right? Some of the problems are the allocation. Definitely, no matter how a system is very effective and impressive and good, there will always be challenges. Some of the challenges are are challenges of some of them are the allocation of jurisdictional power amongst level of government. All right. Sometimes they clash. All right. Sometimes it's a big issue allocating which level of government should attend to certain issues. All right. Fiscal relationship or fiscal relation, money matters, allocation of budgets. All right. Mechanical and administrative mechanical for managing IGR. All right. So speaking about the administrative mechanism, all right, how will this organ, how will the IGR as a whole be managed, be run, the mechanism, the strategy, the system for running these three different levels smoothly without having any contradictions. Okay, I think I should shift this back a little bit so you can cover the whole thing. Because from the looks of things now you're covering the whole board. Okay, I think it's better now. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think it's better now. Awesome. Awesome. So, talked about the problems, talked about the problems, and we talked about the administrative mechanism, talked about the fiscal relation, money matters, and allocation of jurisdictional power. So we have that start. So let's talk about something real quickly. All right. I want to talk about how the Nigerian, how the, I want to talk about this real quickly. How the Nigerian military got involved in politics. All right. We all understand the fact at certain point in time that the military, okay, certain point in time, military got involved in politics. So let's consider how this became a reality. So we have Nigerian military in government. Okay. Now, it is no news that indeed the Nigerian military or the Nigerian army was created, organized, and trained. All right, created by the colonial masters, organized by the colonial masters, and trained. All right, by these colonial masters during the colonial period. All right, so it originates from small indigenous forces. All right, used to what? Establish what we refer to as early British rule. All right, so we can then say the Nigerian military was, all right, trained, organized, the Nigerian army, all right, trained, organized, and created by the colonial, all right, masters during the colonial period. Okay, so how did it all start? Now, it started with empowering a small group of people. Okay, it started with the empowering, all right, of small indigenous forces. Small, okay, small indigenous forces to what? To establish or to execute what we refer to as British early British rule. All right, early. Let's just use that rule. Early British rule. All right. So remember we said these um colonial masters they have targets. All right. They are very intentional about everything they do. Basically, what they want, what they needed to do was just basically um it revolves around economic benefits. So in order to achieve this, they have to definitely empower certain indigenous people with certain trainings, orientations, and even sometimes, or let me even say most time, with tools, all right, to help them carry out their bidding. Now, these forces became part of the West African Frontier Force, all right. So these small groups began to grow in number, all right. They began to increase training and even gave them more tools to carry out their assignments successfully. All right. So with time, this force became, all right, it grew to the extent that it became part of the West African Frontier Force. All right. This force happens to be the later, all right, later on became the Royal West African Frontier Force. And this was established towards the end of the 19th century, all right, and covered British dependency in West Africa. So the British were they were rest assured that they have a system of, all right, armies to protect them, all right, from invaders and also carry on their biddings, all right. So let's just take note of this real quickly. And carried, all right, the colonial masters rule. Okay, so we have that. that. Now, the Nigerian armed forces, all right, were made up of army, small navy, and small air force, all right, created in 1964. All right, speaking of the Nigerian army, all right, back then when it was created, all right, it comprises of the army, all right, small number of navy and air force as well. Okay, that was then created in 19 1964. Are we together? Now, so now we've talked about the Nigerian army and how it's all came to be. So now let's look on the head. What are the factors that made the Nigerian army interfere or got entangled in with, all right, politics? Some of the reasons are social economic development, all right, political development, characteristics of military establishment, all right, foreign influence as well. Now let's take this one step at a time. Reasons: social, economic, debt. Basically, when we talk about social economic development, all right, we are simply considering the fact that the military is of the opinion that, all right, the reason here being, all right, the reason or the argument here is that the civilians, or let's say the civilian government was not doing well in a sense, in the aspect of providing basic amenities for the citizens, all right, improving standard of living, all right, providing good roads, providing good healthcare system, they were not doing it well enough. And the military was of the opinion that if they take over power, they will improve social and economic development. But was that the case? All right. All right. They are of the opinion that they will develop, all right, development in areas as urbanization. They will improve, all right, what we refer to as urbanization, rise of mass education and media, development and monetize economy, and increase mass political participation. All right, that's just the argument, and that's one of the reasons why they got involved. We also have here, as it says, political development as well. All right, military intervention in politics decreases the increasing popular attention to increasing participation. All right. Talking about people are not involving in politics. One of the arguments is that they will get enough people to get involved in politics as well. And we also have external influence. Okay. And speaking of the external influence, all right, a lot of influence were coming from Germany, from Italy, from foreign military missions. All right, just to, when the military is in possess of power, all right, they will carry out a lot of military assignments, giving opportunity to influencers from outside the country. All right, that on normal ground the civilian government would not have permitted. So basically, these are some of the reasons. Yeah, like we all know, they were able to achieve certain things, and they were also not able to achieve certain things. So let's just include the points again. All right, we have foreign intervention. Okay, and just like we said, we also have the political development. So we're going to call it wrap here for today. Okay, and like I said earlier, few more classes on this course, and we'll call it a wrap with the course already. Thank you very much, everyone. I believe you all have been able to gain something in today's class. So, my next class, we're going to take it up from revenue allocation. All right. Do have a wonderful evening, and please let's ensure to keep our notes up to date and send it to the appropriate courses. I look forward to seeing you all in subsequent tutorials.